In this podcast episode, Joe Rogan is joined by Jay Anderson to explore a wide range of fascinating and controversial topics spanning ancient civilizations, mysterious archaeological sites, extraterrestrial theories, UFO encounters, advanced technology, and the interplay between science, spirituality, and secrecy. Their conversation delves into enigmatic megalithic structures in Peru and Egypt, theories of genetic experimentation, acoustic architecture, the dynamics of the UFO disclosure community, and the possible existence of advanced technologies hidden from the public. Jay Anderson shares his recent research and experiences related to the Nazca mummies of Peru, focusing on the extraordinary nature of these beings, some of which bear reptilian features or contain eggs and fetuses inside their bodies. This leads to a discussion about the possibility that these entities represent products of ancient genetic experimentation or cloning, rather than belonging to known primate lineages. Jay references Jesse Michaels' documentary, which includes ideas about the Nazca region's name translating to concepts like area of experiment or laboratory of insemination and cloning in local dialects. This hints at ancient knowledge of bioengineering or manipulation of life forms in the area, positioning Peru as a key site of forgotten and extraordinary archaeological history. Jay contrasts the remarkable precision and scale of megalithic sites such as Sacsayhuaman and the Sacred Valley in Peru with the more recent Inca constructions. He emphasizes that many of these ancient stoneworks, crafted from granite, diorite, and other very hard stones, feature incredibly precise, interlocking techniques and architectural integrity designed to withstand seismic activities. He discusses the possibility that these megastructures are remnants of a lost civilization with knowledge and abilities far beyond what Bronze Age toolsets could achieve. The conversation explores how archaeologists are only beginning to discover vast subterranean labyrinths and infrastructure beneath these sites, validating regional legends of underground tunnels and hidden chambers. The podcast touches on the sophisticated acoustic properties of ancient sites. Jay highlights places like the Pyramid of Unas in Egypt, where calcite crystal walls reveal hidden carvings only visible under special lighting angles. They discuss how certain temples from Malta to Peru and Ireland were designed with sound in mind, using infrasonic and resonant frequencies to induce altered states of consciousness or ritual experiences. This psychoacoustic architecture suggests that ancient peoples intentionally integrated sound into sacred spaces to influence brain activity and spiritual states, predating modern science by thousands of years. Significant time is devoted to discussing the long-standing enigma of how ancient civilizations achieved their monumental stone craftsmanship. Jay introduces the work of a modern researcher from Budapest experimenting with slaked lime and water glass to replicate artificial granite, proposing a theory that some ancient builders may have used similar compounds to soften and mold stone. Despite this promising lead, challenges remain, especially regarding the mass production and unique shaping of millions of individual stones. The question of the origins of this lost technology remains open, with Jay suggesting there are numerous clues pointing toward a civilization with advanced material science knowledge long before current historical models suggest. Jay and Joe examine recent scientific scans suggesting the presence of extensive subterranean structures reaching nearly 2 kilometers beneath the Great Pyramid. These discoveries signal the possibility of an enormous, intricate complex far older and more complex than mainstream archaeology accepts. Discussion includes the acoustic and piezoelectric properties of the pyramid's limestone and granite, hypothesizing the pyramid may have functioned as some form of power plant or energy device, drawing on natural resources like aquifers. Jay details how similar unexplained hydraulic and acoustic features exist in Egyptian sites, such as the Osiris and Abydos, implying an ancient connection between water, sound, and energy, harnessing unknown to modern science. The conversation touches on legends and physical evidence related to giants and cryptids like Bigfoot. Jay and Joe discuss Native American ancestral stories featuring enormous beings and underground ant people, interdimensional theories surrounding Sasquatch-type creatures, and the recent anthropological discoveries suggesting multiple extinct hominid species coexisting historically with humans. These stories, alongside elongated skull discoveries and indigenous oral traditions, paint a picture of a complex prehistory involving various human and non-human entities, many excluded from accepted scientific narratives. Jay candidly shares his own multiple UFO sightings and contact experiences involving orange orbs and unexplained aerial phenomena, which he describes as highly vivid and inexplicable. He introduces methodologies inspired by Dr. Stephen Greer to induce contact through focused meditation and intention, noting the emotional and psychological context frequently involved in such encounters. The dialogue further examines the shifting landscape of UFO disclosure, highlighting divisions within the community, between figures like Greer advocating full disclosure and others like Tom DeLonge and Luis Elizondo, who are seen as part of more controlled narratives. Jay offers critical insights into these political dynamics, describing how certain narratives may serve to delay or dilute true disclosure, while also dealing with online harassment aimed at skeptics or dissenters of the official line. The guests explore evidence for secret advanced aerospace vehicles, including the well-documented Alien Reproduction Vehicle, ARV, and its supposed origins with military insiders. Jay recounts stories shared by aerospace illustrator Mark McCandish and engineer Brad Sorensen regarding vehicles capable of speeds over 200 times the speed of light and instantaneous payload delivery. They speculate that some of today's cutting-edge science could be based on long-suppressed breakthroughs, possibly derived from Nikola Tesla's work, and that significant military-industrial secrecy is maintaining these technologies out of public reach. The potential disruptive effect of free energy and zero-point energy technologies on global economies and power structures frames much of this discussion. Jay reflects on the evolutionary leaps of human consciousness and cognition, contemplating the role of psychedelics in fostering social cohesion and spiritual capacity. While acknowledging the brain-boosting theories involving psychedelic usage, he suggests that human intelligence and consciousness might have also been accelerated or assisted by external interventions, whether genetic, spiritual, or extraterrestrial. This section connects with scientific models such as the orchestrated objective reduction theory, which posits microtubules in brain cells as quantum receptors, implying humans may be receivers of consciousness rather than creators, further blurring divisions between science and spirituality. Throughout the discussion, both Jay and Joe express frustration with the rigidity and gatekeeping prevalent in academia and mainstream archaeology. They describe experiences of censorship, resistance to new ideas, and cultural arrogance that dismiss alternative histories and discoveries. Jay highlights that many ancient sites defy explanations consistent with accepted timelines and tooling capabilities. The podcast critiques the overwhelming influence of funding, careerism, and institutional conservatism that limit scholarly openness, underscoring how independent and alternative media now provide platforms for sharing challenging research and theories. Jay elaborates on the underground Neolithic complex of the Hypergæum in Malta, a site notable for its overlapping, acoustically resonant chambers and the discovery of both normal and elongated skulls within. He discusses secretive aspects related to restricted public access and legends suggesting these tunnels were used to contain or isolate entities. The presence of these elongated skulls with abnormal sutures points toward unknown biological histories, intersecting with stories of other anomalous human remains globally. Comparison is made between similar spiral motifs etched in Malta's and Ireland's ancient sites, emphasizing a global prehistoric pattern in art and acoustic design. The podcast touches on the monumental stones near Balbek in Lebanon, some ranging up to 1,500 tons and incidentally placed hundreds of meters above ground. Jay highlights the inconsistency of attributing such feats to first-century Romans, who possessed no credible technology for such engineering. The conversation alludes to this site's proximity to Mount Hermon, linked to biblical accounts of the Watchers, drawing thematic and geographical connections between ancient legends and architectural marvels. The scale and precision of megalithic blocks at Balbek challenge received history and suggest lost or suppressed knowledge. Jay discusses mass extinction and near-extinction events in human prehistory, including the Toba supervolcano eruption that may have reduced humanity to a few thousand survivors. They explore the concept of cyclical catastrophes and magnetic pole shifts that periodically usher profound change, often recorded as flood myths or cataclysms in ancient lore. This leads to speculation that many ancient sites and cultures emerged or were rebuilt following such global resets, informing the paradox of complex megalithic achievements alongside what appear to be early, primitive phases of history. Jay concludes by sharing his channel's Project Unity on YouTube and X, formerly Twitter, encouraging listeners to follow his ongoing research and content that covers these diverse topics. He emphasizes his commitment to quality over quantity and the importance of independent platforms in bringing forward suppressed or fringe knowledge.